You're watching Every Days and Saturdays, USMC veteran. Let's go, baby. And here's your host, Bryan. And what's going on, friends and family? Thank you guys so much for joining me on another great day and another great interview. And like always, I hope you guys are having an amazing day, amazing week out there. Hope you guys are being safe. I know we just got through Labor Day weekend, and by the time you guys watch that, hopefully you guys everybody made it through safely and enjoyed that extra day off. And if anybody's out there struggling, remember there's 988 for veterans out there. Press 1. Hopefully you'll be put in touch with someone that can help you, point you in the right direction. Maybe you need resources. Maybe you're just struggling mentally and you really don't want anybody to know what's going on. They will handle it and do it discreetly as well. And I'm excited for our next guest. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go this year, and but it wouldn't be a regular season. I think this is the third time that we've had him on to kind of do like a debrief. I got to go, in the last 2 years, and this year it fell smack dab on the wife and I's 10-year anniversary, and I didn't think I was going to be able to really swing going out to Herostock for my 10-year anniversary with the wifey. I mean, I would have been fine with it, but anyways, we went to sunny San Diego. We were supposed to go out to Maine, but flying and doing all the shit you got to do to get on a plane, no bueno, was no good. So we went to somewhere that we really love and adore, and that's good old San Diego. I mean, I love the coast all the way from Oceanside to San Diego because I was stationed right there in Camp Pendleton, right there in Oceanside, and I just fell in love with the place. Now my daughter goes to UC San Diego, and funny thing is, she said she would never date a Marine. Guess what? She's dating a Marine, and I got to meet him this past weekend. Cool dude. It was kind of fun to hang out with a Marine again, and just kind of cue back the differences and how the Marine Corps is now versus how it was when I was in. And the Marine Corps really doesn't change much. The circus pretty much stays really much a lot the same. The clowns are the what's rotates through, and we always end up missing the clowns. But nevertheless, we had a great time on our 10-year anniversary. I was really disappointed to miss good old Herostock, and I always have a great time going to that event and meeting all kinds of people that I've met, online, social media, things like that. That's how I actually met Jason Steiner. Is believe it or not, we met on one of our buddies, Eric Mello. They had a podcast out there called The Contagion Effect, and a lot of us would go there and hang out in the comment section and be guest on the show. And sure enough, we collided, and I got to know all about Herostock, and I became sold on it. And I was like, dude, I got to go. I'm not going to miss it. So I was so bummed that I missed this year. They already got a date for next year. I want to say it was the 15th, 16th of August. I could be a little off a day or two on that, but I did talk to the wife, and we're already talking about going. And my daughter, I didn't even tell her about Herostock or nothing, but she's like, "Oh, I'm getting married in August. You ain't getting married on the 15th and 16th or whatever date it is. So pick another weekend after that." Because we're not going to miss this year. So here to talk all about the debrief about Herostock and what's to be expected for 2026. We got Mr. Jason Steiner in the house.
What's up, brother? How are you?
What's going on, my brother, man? Hey, it's always a pleasure to have you on. And like I said, it wouldn't be a true season if we didn't have you on the show and to talk about Herostock. I think we've already had you on this season to talk about, what you would expect this year.
Yep.
And now we're here to kind of close it off, man, and talk about how was it? How the hell was it? And now I got to know even more about this motherfucker because I wasn't there. So now I got to live vicariously through you, bro. And just let us know, man, what did we miss if we didn't make it out there this past year?
Man, there was so much that you missed. We had the parachuters jumping back in again, Bravo Zulu Adventure Group. They came in, did their thing. Always amazing when they come out and jump in. And it's always one of the highlights of our show. So we really appreciate those guys. We changed it up a little bit this year. We changed the layout of it. Last year we had everybody out on the driving range. This year we actually moved them in to where we created a tunnel. When people came in through the gate to get their tickets, you had to walk through all of the nonprofits and stuff. So that was a really, really cool change that we made this year. And it drove a lot more traffic to the nonprofits for people to find them and be able to find out.
Because last time they were a little bit more off, like kind of in the driving range or something, right?
Yep. Yeah, we had them pushed out in the driving range. And so this year they were right up front, right up for everybody to find and see. It's a car actually from Sid Dillon. They're one of our sponsors this year. Amazing guy. He's actually already pledged money for next year. He came out to the event on Friday night and just absolutely loved it. So, but no, man, we had 8 bands over 2 nights. This year was our first year to offer camping. So we had, a handful of campers that came in and set up and did primitive camping out there. The bands were just incredible. We didn't do any solo artists this year. It was all full band. Mr. LV Shane, he was our headliner for country night. He tore it up, did a great show. Of course, Kimberly and South of Center, they always do a great show. The Trainer band was amazing as always. Rock Night, Shannon Book actually kicked us off with his band Deliberately Broken. And it was freaking crazy because we were supposed to kick music at 5:00. And about 4:30, we're watching these storms move in.
What day was this, on the Friday?
On Friday. Yeah.
Friday, okay.
And we're watching these storms move in, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. Like, this is the last thing you want with an outdoor event is rain. And so the guy at the golf course comes out and he goes, hey, man, I jump on the mic right now, let everybody know there's storms coming in. They're going to be here in about 15 minutes, and there's 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And we've got these 10x10 pop-up tents.
Oh, no. Yeah. Wow.
So I jump on the mic. I'm like, hey, just so everybody knows, we've got a storm moving in. There's 50-mile-an-hour winds. There's no hail or anything. It's just rain and wind. Do with this information what you want, but them tents will blow away. And so we watch it. Yep, 5:00, man. It just, rain starts. It is pouring rain, just a downpour. And there's a couple of them that stuck it out underneath their tents. And at one point I looked out and Bravo Zulu's out there. And I'm pretty sure they were hoping this thing would take off so they could try to land it like they do with their parachutes, but it didn't take off. So, but it poured the whole set that Shannon was up there on stage, which for him worked out great because everybody from outside came inside and watched their performance. So he ended up having the best group of the night to play to. So, but once the storm blew over, Die Tired jumped on stage, our boys from Pennsylvania, and they did a really good job again. And they've grown so much since last year when we saw them, and they did the Better Off Alive song. And that one always gets me. And they actually had Jim get up and talk about what the song's about. And, there's community and there's family. And this is your group right here, when stuff goes dark. And I'm standing over, I'm shooting video of it. And I'm like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And I had a trickle running.
Dust in my son of a bitch. I got dust in my eye.
The damn wind with the rain, and yeah. I mean, it was very it hit home. But it was super cool that they, did that song. I love that song. And they did something with it to show why this song is so important. And, but they killed it. And then we had this band called Gallivant. These guys are local. They're from Omaha. None of them served in the military, but a lot of their family did. So we brought them in as kind of the local draw and ties back to military and that kind of thing. Dude, these guys were crazy. Like, they come out in these tall tube socks with the striped tube socks.
Mm-hmm.
They had shorty shorts on. They had cut off T-shirts. And they absolutely destroyed it. Like, it was incredible. And at one point,
They sound like dads of the 80s, man.
Dude, they look like dads of the 80s. Long hair, the handlebar mustache, the big, kind of fro looking hair. And super, super, super nice guys. But they come out and they absolutely crush this. And they got 3 of them. At one point, all 3 of them were playing drums. And they were just doing like a drum solo. But it like came out really, really good. Like, it sounded like there was one person playing a lot of drums.
Wow. For them to be in sync with each other and not sound out, that's amazing.
Yeah, dude, it was incredible. And then the next thing you know, the guy that's playing bass jumps on the drums, the drummer jumps on lead guitar, and lead guitar jumps on bass, and they play a whole song like that. And it sounds amazing. Like, these guys are just so musically talented. But showmanship, oh my goodness, they were off the charts with it. It was so much fun watching them. And then we had Lockjaw. Lockjaw came in out of Texas, and they are a metal band, and they are loud. Inside that building,
I bet that place was rocking, huh?
Dude, Dean Schaefer Productions, our sound and light guy, amazing. He pulled out his decibel reader at one point, and it was like 138 decibels inside that building. And front of house was 25 foot from the stage.
Now, to have all these motherfuckers call this service connected.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, they were loud. They were good. They put on a great show. A lot of the people, it just wasn't their music. It wasn't their style. So they didn't keep a real big crowd, but they kept a handful around. And then as soon as they were off stage, they meet and greet with everybody, shook hands, took pictures, sold merch, signed merch.
Were they screamo type?
They weren't really I mean, there was a few spots where they were, but for the most part, it was just really, really heavy. Like, it was just loud. And it was great once you got outside that building. But contained inside that metal building, man, it was loud.
Beating your body up damn near, huh?
Yeah. So, like, it was awesome. Like, they did an amazing job. They put on a hell of a show. And just super nice guys. Like, I really enjoyed getting to meet them and talk to them. I had Stogs with them and a little bit of liquor the night before, and sitting out there at the golf course playing cornhole and just talking and BSing with them, and super nice guys. So, all the bands we had in this year were amazing. And I said last year, I don't know how I'm going to top it. Well, I did. And, me and Natasha, we booked the majority of the bands, and it was awesome. Like, they really came through and put on a hell of a show. So, our kind of our high point this year is we had 51 nonprofits and for-profits out there selling stuff and talking about their stuff.
Well, that's great, man. Because what was it, 40 maybe the year before or so?
I think we had 43 the year before.
Right. So, damn, that's good.
Yeah. So it went up a little bit. And, we've been shuffling around the outreach officer spot. We had a guy that came in that we thought was going to do really, really well. And he ended up going through some family stuff and some life stuff. And he just didn't quite cover his bases the way we were hoping. So he stepped away, and we brought somebody else in midstream, and, trying to spin them up on everything that we've got going. And we're not sure who he reached out to and who'd reached back out to him. And, so we were kind of struggling this year on the outreach side of it to get all of that information that we needed out to all these nonprofits. And, and it was hard too, because we doubled up over top of the 50-mile march. You know, we were the same weekend as a 50-mile march, and
That's right. I did see that on Facebook.
yeah, so
They were doing it live.
Yeah, we lost a lot of people that come in and help us. We lost a lot of people that come in to hang out because they were doing the march on Saturday. So it was a little bit rough, and unfortunately, that was the only date that we could get at the golf course that got us outside of football season.
Right.
And, that was the big thing this year is we had to get outside of football season, and so we took that date this year and
land right on the freaking 50-mile march.
Yep.
And they were going from Omaha to Lincoln.
They go from Lincoln to Omaha.
Lincoln to Omaha.
Yep. They start at I think they started at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, and then it's a 30-hour. Well, they march for 22 hours, but it's 30 hours for anybody that helps them. Doing the pre-stage, the stage, running it, the post-stage, the teardown. So we lost out on quite a few people that usually come in just because of that. And they had 176 walkers this year is what they
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I think they ended up landing 167. I think they dropped 9 is all that they dropped out of those. So
wow.
It was pretty awesome that they had that kind of a turnout and that they had that many people that actually made it to the finish line too. So
yeah, a whole bunch of, so you said about 9 people got in the Humvee?
Yep. But that's a pretty small percentage when you're
oh yeah, for sure, especially when everybody's probably hasn't done it and since last year, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Is that an annual thing that they do? Is that something they do just damn, man, fell right on the annual one. Sheesh.
Yep. So this year we've bumped our dates back. We're going to be the 14th and 15th of August. So we're back
14th, 15th. Did I say 15th, 16th?
You said 15th, 16th. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So 14th, 15th.
Folks. And I'm actually working right now with Country Drive Golf Course and my board to possibly do a pre-party on Thursday night. And we
love the pre-parties.
If I can get it all lined out, this is going to be kind of cool. We've got a group here called the Omaha Hellhounds, and they do medieval fighting. So they build an octagon. Yeah. They build an octagon out of 2x4s and chain link fence. And then they get in the ring with
do some barbaric shit.
Dude, yeah. For real. Full medieval suits and swords and just beat the piss out of each other. And so that's going to be the entertainment for the pre-party. There may be a small cover, like a $5 cover to get in, something like that. But I don't know what they charge. I'm going to be talking to them this next week to figure out how we can work it out. And then we'll probably have a band that plays after they're done just to keep people around, hanging out and drinking and having a good time. And I really want to do this because then it gives campers another reason to bring their camper out, because then you're there for 3 nights instead of 2 nights. And the camping side of it is a lot of fun. We had a good time this year with the campers and that kind of stuff. So I'd like to expand that out, make that a little bit bigger and get more people to bring their campers in and hang out. So, but yeah,
it's always fun when you get party in a place you don't have to leave.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Imagine the fun you could have.
Right. So, yeah. And overall, it was a good show. We had around 500 show up Friday night, which was down a little bit from last year. I think we had about 600 last year. And then we had about 1,000 show up Saturday night. We'd shorten the time. We went from 4 to 11 instead of 2 to 11 on Saturday. And, but we had some fun raffles going on. We got to give out 2 Herostock Hometown Heroes of the Year awards this year. Nice. One went to an Omaha police officer. And this dude's resume, he just kept reading and reading and reading. There was so much to it. And then the other one was a Vietnam veteran. And he's battling with dementia now. And so he's a couple years down that road, and it's getting worse and worse. And so we called him up to the stage, and they get up there, and we go through his bio of what all he did, and retired captain out of the Army National Guard, and we get done, and he's like, well, I really wasn't expecting that. And his wife goes, honey, we've been talking about this for weeks. And he goes, no, I don't remember it. So it was a complete surprise to him because he totally forgot that they'd been talking about it. So it was kind of cool that happened. And then, we named the Volunteer of the Year. And that one is so hard to pick because we have so many people that really step up throughout the year. And, my sister was one she was on the block this year for Volunteer of the Year, and she went out and she collected donations from all these businesses and stuff. And we ended up having like 48 or 52 different things that we put out for our silent auction. Wow. And 90% of it came from her. And, she stood in line for 12 hours or waited in line for 12 hours to get Riola's, the quarterback for the Huskers. She got his autograph on a jersey, and stuff like that. And it's like, man, that was a lot. Like, how do you top that? And then we've got Shannon Book that's made all these amazing connections for us, and has done so much for us, through the years. And then you got Tom Lamog. Tom runs our website. Tom does, he stepped in and took over the podcast when I just didn't have time to do it anymore. And he's taken off with that, and he's running with that, and he's keeping the website up to date. As soon as we have something that pops up, he gets it taken care of. And so it's really hard to pick, who your Volunteer of the Year is going to be. And
yeah, gosh, damn.
I
was like, whoa, you might have to split that award.
Right. Well, we actually ended up picking Shannon. He was supposed to be our Volunteer of the Year, and it was going to be a surprise, so nobody told him to be at the stage at 9. Well, I ran all over that place. My whole board's standing on stage, and I'm literally scouring the grounds looking for him. I'm yelling in the campers. Can't find him. So we end up getting up on stage. We call an audible, and we give it to Tom. Tom's our Volunteer of the Year this year.
Well, default. You're the default winner.
Yep, exactly. But, and I could have went down and I could have picked out 5 more people,
Sure.
Said, hey,
yeah, I imagine, dude.
Volunteer of the Year. You could be the Volunteer of the Year. And hell, most of my board, well, we're all volunteers. So I could easily have named any of my board Volunteer of the Year.
Right.
So it was, it's always a tough one to pick. And we hope we don't disappoint anybody when they don't get it. We hope that we don't push anybody away, because you're not unnoticed, that you're noticed. And it's just, sometimes people get picked over other people, and, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be picked next year. And maybe next year we expand it and we do a couple of them, and do it that way. But no, dude, overall, it was an amazing event. This was the first year we went into the event actually paid for. So that was really, really nice.
So everything that you were able to pretty much make out of that, you guys were able to kind of do what you do with it,
Yep. We can put it into the coffer for next year and be able to help start off with a little bit of money instead of starting off negative or starting off flat broke, like we did this year. So, it makes it a lot better. And I think next year will be, we can make it bigger because of that. But yeah, dude, it was a great time. Overall, it was a lot of fun, and people seemed to have a great time there and enjoyed themselves, enjoyed the music, and enjoyed the venue. The venue itself is amazing out there. And, I had a impromptu meeting with the owners of Country Drive on Monday when I went back out to pick up the light sets to take them back. And I'd found one of the keys to their golf carts. So I took it back out to them. Hey, I walk in the door and Greg, the owner, he turns around, looks at me, he goes, were your ears burning? I'm like, I don't know. Am I in trouble? And he's like, no. He said, we were just talking about your event, and we really love it. And we really want to help you guys out. And So I think they're actually going to jump on board this year to help us get a bigger headliner out there to draw more people out next year and hopefully open up some more sponsors to come out and see what we're doing and sponsor what we're doing and that kind of thing. So we're pretty excited about 26 right now.
Nice. Now, does it seem like you had a lot of returners or a lot of new people got to check it out this year, or how was that a little bit of everything?
It was a little bit of everything. It was kind of a 50-50 deal. I saw a lot of faces that we saw last year, and I saw a lot of brand new faces that we didn't see last year. So I think it's always hard, man. Like in the summertime, like it's always hard to get people to do stuff because
Sure.
Saturday was an amazing day, like weather-wise. I think the high was 76 degrees.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
because last year it was blazing.
It was blazing hot last year.
Yeah, bro. That 2 o'clock to what was like 11 or something,
8
or
or 9.
9. That was a long hot day.
Yeah. Yep. And this year it was like 76 was the high. And it was sunny, beautiful, 5-mile-an-hour breeze, so it didn't have a lot of wind. It was the perfect day. And I think a lot of people, when that happens, you're closing down cabins, out at lakes, you're doing stuff around your house, you're cleaning your gutters out, you're, whatever it is. And so people just don't come out when the weather's that nice. And you're kind of in that catch-22 always here in Nebraska, because either it's stupid blazing hot and people don't want to go out because it's stupid blazing hot, or it's so nice they want to stay home and do stuff, so it's been tough to get the draw. But I think by grabbing a bigger headliner, people will see that and they'll want to come out for the music and then find out how many resources are out there. And, we're going to advertise a little different this year. We're not advertising just solely basically the concert, because really we didn't talk about the nonprofits this year leading up to it. We're going to advertise.
Well, I guess, do you have most of the list of who's going to be there, or does that not finalize till later? Because that would be kind of hard to keep talking about nonprofits that you don't know if they're going to show or not show. So you sit there and you highlight all these nonprofits. Next thing you know, 3 out of the 5 you highlighted don't show up.
Yep. Yep. And that's what I've struggled with promoting them is, we had some that showed up on Saturday only. They didn't show up on Friday because they had other commitments. We had some that showed up that didn't fill out a contract and send it back to us. We didn't even know they were showing up, so, but I think we're going to advertise it more as a resource fair, because that's really what this is about, is having the resources there.
Right.
So we're going to advertise it more as a resource fair with a concert and kind of separate those to where people that want to come and see the resources, they can come and see the resources. Keep people that want to come see the concert, this is who's playing at the concert, and then they're still going to have to walk through the resources, so they'll still get seen. They'll still, people will still stop and pick up a shirt, buy a hat, whatever it might be from these nonprofits, and learn about what they do for the community and that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of thoughts that we're still growing. We're still kicking stuff around. And one of the big changes for next year is I think we're dropping Rock Night, and we're just going 2 nights of country.
That just kind of resonates better with the population.
Yep. It just doesn't draw, and it's hard to say that it doesn't draw because we haven't really had a real true perfect day per se to have that, right? Because last year it was Husker volleyball was playing, you had high school football going on Friday night. This year it was the rain and the storm and all that, so it's hard to say that it wouldn't draw. But it just seems like our country night seems to be bigger, and watching what Country Drive's doing with their Country Line Drive festival out there, they do 3 nights of country and they draw anywhere from 1,000 to 6,000 people a night.
Wow.
So they just did Treaty Oak Revival this year, and they had over 6,000 people on ground, in one night. So it's like, maybe that's what we need to look at, is doing 2 nights of country, and we'll test it this year and see how it goes. And if it seems like it hits.
Now, do you see yourself having to change it up a little bit, or are you guys going to try to maintain the same philosophy, is that at least one band member needs to be a veteran, or is that something that you guys are going to evolve from, or how's that? How are you going to work it? Are you going to try to still maintain that, but you maybe add, non-veteran musicians and stuff like that
Yep.
as well? I mean, what's your plan there?
Well, and we already did that kind of this year. We've evolved away from, they have to have a veteran or first responder in the band. We prefer it, but like Gallivant, they didn't have one. LV Shane didn't have one, but it's hard to stick with these guys that people don't know, because it's hard to get the
Right.
draw.
Sure.
And maybe once we get bigger and we can do a longer event, do like they do out at Country Drive, and they start at 1:00 and they've got 3 bands that they put on stage in the small pavilion, and then by 5 or 6, everything moves out to the driving,
Headline.
and that's where they have 3 bands that play out on the driving range.
Right.
And they do that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and do 3 nights of it like that. So they're getting what, 3, 6, 6, 12, 18 bands that come out there and play, and maybe that's where we go, okay, for these smaller veteran bands and stuff, maybe they start in the pavilion until they have that draw to be able to pull people in, and then they get to move out to the big stage and, stuff like that. And I love having our veteran bands and singers and stuff in. It's just, at the end of the day, it still has to run like a business, and we still have to be able to put money into our pocket to pay for next year. And that's the only way we're going to grow bigger, is to be able to start off with money in the coffer. And, chasing sponsorships is hard. We chased down a lot of sponsorships this year, and we basically came in flat even to start the event off. So it definitely, if we're going to plan on growing and try to make this thing bigger, we have to have those names that come in that people are like, I want to go see this guy.
Yeah, you do got to change it up to evolve, right? I mean, you guys, started off manageable size. Now you want to keep it growing, and you got to figure out, how do we grow it, right? And
Yep.
so, it only makes sense. And you, in reality, you can kind of get the best of both worlds, right? You can kind of, like you said, have, the veteran bands kind of start off, they're the opening act. Maybe, yeah, there's not as many people there during that moment in time, but there is still some people that are there that are start hearing them for the first time, and they're like, oh wait, who's that?
Right.
And it does help them get that visibility that a lot of times they won't have. And obviously the nonprofits too are gonna really benefit a lot from it as well, by getting more eyes on them. And that's
Yep.
important, because something that a lot of veterans out there don't realize is there's so many nonprofits and for profits that are out there for them, to help them through their transitions, help them through their mental health issues, uh, things that they've experienced while they're in. There's so many different things,
Right.
and the more that you can get that visibility on those kind of things, the more people realize that there are those things out there. Because shit, man, a lot of stuff that I've seen, I had no clue that it was out there until I started kind of becoming into the podcast world, and then meeting other people, and then they would say something about another nonprofit. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that exists. So
Right.
that's really cool.
Yeah. And that always wants to be our focus, is making sure that they're highlighted, and that people understand that this is all there for our heroes. And because that was I mean, when I got out, I knew of the Legion and the VFW, and I couldn't join the
Sure.
VFW,
Correct.
'cause I wasn't a war vet. And and I was like, well, I don't really want to go sit around with a bunch of old guys and drink beer at the Legion because that's all it was at the time. Legion that my dad went to, and I'm like, it's just not for me.
Right.
And it wasn't until down the line that I found out, oh my gosh, there's hockey, there's knitting, there's motorcycles, there's parachuting, there's scuba diving, there's cars, there's all these things.
A through Z.
Right.
Shit, man,
Right.
Uh,
Anything you can think of, there's probably a nonprofit somewhere for it.
Correct.
Equine therapy. I didn't know that there was equine therapy for veterans.
Yeah.
I would have been up
Same.
riding a horse every week. It just but until you know what you don't know. So it's like that always wants to be our forefront of what we're doing is providing that space and the platform for those resources to say, hey, this is what we do. And we would love to have you be along with us. We would love to help you out. We would love to have you as a sponsor. I want them to talk to people and find people in our crowd to help sponsor them. That's how they're
the other part about it is that there's the VA is limited, with the resources, and they can only do what they can do, and they do what they do, and there's all these other nonprofits there to kind of cushion it a little bit, right? Like, obviously, no one's going to fix anybody's problem, but nevertheless, they can provide tools. Sometimes there's a lot of these programs out there that will offer resources and things of that nature. And why I'm thinking of that, and just real quick, I'll plug it in for if you are a California veteran or of a California veteran that is in a homeless position in their life or getting ready to be on the streets. Contact me, email me. I will put you in touch with someone who will get them off the street. All right. They're working super hard. They're accelerating it. They're expediting it. So if you do know of any veterans here in California, I wish I knew of outside of California, but I can only speak for right here, right now, especially in the LA County area. I've been told that seek out anybody that may be in the position of needing help, and they will get you the help that's needed. So
that's
just
awesome.
a quick plug on that.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, and I'm just I'm very thankful that there's events like yours that are out there that your event really serves multiple purposes, right? Like you guys have the nonprofits there, okay. You do have bands there that have military members in there. It gives them opportunity to be in a platform that they don't normally have. And then there's also the camaraderie part, networking and stuff that goes on while everybody's there. And I know, like, I know Betsy goes, and I know there's people that read her books and stuff like that, and she gets to meet them in person.
Yep.
Same here. I've gone and got to meet people that I've met through, social media on the podcast shows and things like that. So,
Sure.
That event is really, it serves a big purpose, right? And I know there's a lot of work that goes into making that happen, man. So what is 2026 right now? You guys right now have one event that you guys are really shooting for, and it's gonna once again be at the golf course, right? You guys, it's kind of like your guys' Herostock's home right now, because that place is great too. I mean, it's a great venue.
It is, and it has room to grow. That's the beautiful
part.
It
does.
If we get to 6,000 or 8,000 people, there's enough room to have 6,000 or 8,000 people out there. At one time.
And their parking lots very. There's a lot of place to park and things like that too. So, the place is sure got a great future there for you guys.
Yeah, and Jared and Chelsea and Greg, like they are some of the kindest people you'll ever meet. They are business people, and they want to see us grow. They want to help us grow to help them grow.
Yeah.
But they're just amazing people. And, we go out there on Wednesday nights for country music sometimes. And I walk in and, hey, how you doing? And it's just that immediately, they're right there to greet you. And just amazing people and an amazing venue. And so, yeah, we're definitely staying at Country Drive as long as they'll have us. And, I'm hoping that we can continue being there for a long time to come and continue growing it out there and helping grow their music festival as well.
I think having a consistent place and venue it will help the event as well, right? Because
Right.
people will, oh yeah, I know exactly where that is now, and it's not
Yep.
like, oh shoot, where's it at this year, right? Like it, so Country Drive will be like a Herostock, home
Yep.
base.
The home of Herostock. I like it. I think we're gonna print a banner and go put it up out there. Home of Herostock.
You really should. I mean, it really suits to me, bro. Like it couldn't be a better venue for what you guys want to do, right? Herostock is kind of like the version of Woodstock, and now you are able to have people camp on site, right?
Right. Yep.
And be right there. It's very open outside. Even
Yep.
like when you go to like the one part, it's very open, right? Like where the band plays underneath, and
Yeah.
just a
Even the building, like,
really
all the walls are
amazing.
open.
Yeah, it's a golf course, right? So um couldn't suit your guys' event anymore. Really, I don't know if you guys could have found more of a perfect place for your event.
No, and it fell in our laps, which was even better. Like we didn't have to search it out. It last year just kind of fell in our lap, and now that they've seen it and they understand it, and they want to help us grow, and having them backing us, I think will be huge for next year. Um, one of the things I did want to talk about this, one of the things that we added this year that we hadn't done in the past was the Herostock Community Give Back Program. So every dollar that we collected through ticket sales for our main event, we took 50% of that and gave that back to the community. So the Ashland Fire Department, we contacted them, and they're a nonprofit. They're just a volunteer fire, and they were needing new headsets for their trucks. Well, their headsets cost about $5,000 per truck, 5 to 8,000 per truck to get done.
Eesh.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty substantial. And, so we ended up collecting, I don't remember exactly what it was. I'd have to do, I think it was $4,200 on the gate this year. And, we ended up giving back $1,385 back to the Ashland Fire Department. And then we took all the nonprofits that set up with us for both nights. We put their name into a bucket, shook it up, and drew out at ease out of Omaha, and they got $1,385.
Oh
And
wow, that's awesome.
it was cool to be able to say, hey, we're now giving back to the community with what we're doing, and being able to go in with funds in the bank, to be able to pay for it. We didn't have to worry about having that money from the gate fee or all of it to, help pay for the event like we did last year. So it was cool to be able to do that this year, and it's something we're going to continue on. We're looking at, I don't know if we'll do Ashland again next year, or if we're going to grab another one of the small fire departments. But we're going to do that again with probably a fire department next year, and then we'll do the same thing with the nonprofit. And when I called at ease, they were like, oh my goodness, that's a huge portion of our budget for a year. $1,385. It's
Yeah.
not a ton of money.
Yeah.
But, if we can help fund 2 of their programs or 3 of their programs that they don't have to spend the money for, that's awesome. I love that we can do that.
Yep, absolutely. I mean,
So,
dude, anything helps nowadays. I mean,
right.
and I know donations are probably very hard to come by, right?
Yep.
With the way people's funds are really tight. So,
Yep.
I imagine getting a donation to that size has got to be amazing for a
Right.
nonprofit.
Right. Yeah. And, we had some great sponsors this year. Bish's, they loaned us 7 campers this year for the bands and the board. We had Doc Goodbeard, Barry Law, and I know I'm going to forget some, so please forgive me. Sandhills Global, Langfeld Overhead Doors, they're back again for the 3rd year. Just some really amazing people that donated and helped us out with the event. Sunbelt Rentals gave us the light sets that we put up for safety and that kind of stuff. So we really had some great sponsors this year, but we actually had some that we went to and they're like, man, we just can't do it this year. We just don't have the funds.
Yeah.
And, so it's not easy, going out and being a Marine, asking somebody for something is hard anyway.
Oh yeah. We know that. Shit. At least I know that.
Yeah. And then you're asking for money and it's like, I really don't want to do this, but you do what you do. But yeah, this event was amazing. It had some amazing backing behind it. Sid Dillon, Hyundai of Lincoln, they're another one of our sponsors. They brought out 5 cars for us to put out there to fill in some spots. And, you literally, like I could sit here probably going all day about our sponsors and how amazing they are. And, we're off of it this year and now we're turning right back around and we're going to start back again. And, hey, we've got, next year to pay for. And the Lincoln Stars is one of our sponsors this year. We'll be doing a jersey auction with them again in November. And if we hit 25,000, I am shaving my beard on stage. So that's kind of scary.
Still waiting for that to happen, huh? Sheesh.
Still waiting. I'm hoping
we got to get that done.
I think this year will be the year we break the 25K.
See that baby face.
Right. It's been 25 years since I've seen my face. So it could be interesting if the beard actually comes off. But
man, that would be the whitest damn piece of face you ever seen.
I will have a white beard at that point because
so
we got that coming up. We've got a Mannheim Auto. They do a specialty auction every year for a nonprofit. We were chosen by them for the nonprofit. So they will actually run a car for us at their car auction and we get all the proceeds off of that. So that's going to be really cool this year. We've got our name put in with the Ice Cream Cruise. 1320 Video does an event every year. And they host 20,000, 30,000 people, something like that event at their event. And then they take profits off of that and they split it between a couple different nonprofits, and our name's in for that. We've got a grant in with the 50-mile march and, some other people like that. There's a possibility that we have Tito's on for next year and working with them, which would be really, really cool. And then we've got an event that we're actually supporting. We're not really doing much for it other than I've set up a bunch of the bands for it. But the 2025 Lake of the Ozarks Jeep event, we've got 4 bands that I support that I put in touch with them to sign down there. So the end of September, they're talking between 8,000 and 12,000 people that's going to be down on the strip at the dam down there at Lake of the Ozarks. And Shannon Book's going to be down there with Deliberately Broken, the Trainer Band, a guy named Hockett. He's a Navy veteran he's a Navy corpsman from Arapahoe, Nebraska. And then Bree and her band will be down there playing. And crazy enough, when we did the smoke off, one of the events that we did, I'd asked Hockett to come in and play, and Shannon came in and played, and they were just doing acoustic stuff. And Hockett's up on stage, and he gets off stage from the set, and he walks up to Shannon, and he goes, "Were you in field med school as one of the instructors?" And Shannon's like, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm Brandon Hockett. I was in 3rd Platoon." He was Shannon was one of his instructors in like 06 or 07 at field med school.
That's wild.
And they didn't put it together until they saw each other at the event.
That's great.
And yeah, I mean, it was just, and it was they haven't talked for 20 years, you know?
Reunited and it feels
Right.
good.
It was super wild that's how they made that connection again. And now they're talking about writing some music together and doing some stuff together in Texas. And, so it was really cool to see that connection be made down there and
That is
at
awesome.
Nebraska Brewing. So, but yeah, that's kind of like 2026, man. We're really pushing hard this year to make this something that everybody wants to come to, and that we can get 100+ nonprofits out there this year to be a part of it and show off what they're doing, and get 3, 4, 5,000 people there a night so that they can get in front of these nonprofits and understand what they're doing and how important it is to have these nonprofits here to help our heroes.
Yeah, out there supporting our communities, man. That's for sure.
Yep.
I'm sure it's really nice too, man, not to have to go. You could take one thing off of your checklist of many things to do, and that's one thing is you don't have to keep going to find a location to have the place,
Right.
right? And I know that alone is a big one of the biggest things on the checklist that you got to go do, right?
Yep.
Because you got to make sure a place can do X, Y, and Z, serve alcohol, have enough capacity to hold enough people, blah, 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 blah. You
Yep.
want to have man, you better have some kind of electric shit.
Right. Right.
So that's
Yeah.
got to be a little bit of a relief to have that now, kind
Yeah.
of
Yep.
established.
And like I said, they've been amazing, and they're behind what we're doing, and I couldn't think of a better group to be with to help us grow, to, you know, show us the ropes of what they're doing with their event already. They already run their concert event. So they can really show us the ropes on the concert side of it to get us spun up to what they're doing, and we can focus more on the nonprofit side and the vendor side to get people there set up so that people have something to look at and people to talk to, and it's not just a concert.
And it's awesome. Yeah, I've always known, Herostock is going to be one of those things that's going to be it. It already is for me unforgettable. It's just going to be way more talked about, and there's going to be a lot of people, more involved in it because a lot of people hear us talking about it. It's completely different until you go there and have the experience yourself. And if
Yep.
you talk to anybody that's ever gone, that's exactly what they'll tell you.
Yeah.
Is that you pretty much got to go there to feel the experience and be there for yourself. A lot of us can talk it up, but you got to go out there and experience it.
Yep.
Um, I know was going to try my damnedest to help you guys get someone out there this past year. I think I'm going to try again this upcoming, season to see if there's something I can do to maybe do a little bit of like a scholarship or something to get a veteran who maybe wants to go out to Herostock, but just really can't afford it. And maybe there's a way I can, through the show, get donations, get something to where we can put it towards getting a veteran travel and stuff paid for. And, you
Right.
know, here's your tent,
Yep. Yeah. Right. No doubt. You don't get a
Take
hotel room.
your tent. Yeah, you get to stay. Here's your tent. I'll go to Walmart, get you a tent. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Yeah.
But I've had a lot of great time with it, so it's like for me, I would love for others to go out there and get that experience themselves, right? There's a lot of healing and a lot of just you start to feel things that you're like, wow, I didn't even realize that.
Yep.
It's kind of weird what it really does for you when you get around so many other veterans.
Yep. And the funny thing is I've had people, they're like, explain hero stock. And I'm like, I can't. They're like, what? I can't. You have to go. You have to see it. You have to be there to understand. I can tell you about the concert. I can tell you about the nonprofits. I can tell you about the bounce houses for kids. I can tell you about this amazing open venue. but you don't understand what it is until you go. And
Right.
it's one of those things you have to be there. And even if you're the guy that just sits in the corner by himself, like there's still that experience of the camaraderie, the family, the
Oh yeah, because you're gonna see folks, woo, and hugging and ha, and
yep.
no
Or
matter
Doc
where you're
Goodbeard.
at.
Dude, Doc Goodbeard this year, I don't think he's ever moved like I don't think he's moved like that in 20 years. When LV Shane was up there ripping on it, he had his cane up as a guitar and he was playing it. And he brought his son this year. I was sitting next to him and he goes, I haven't seen dad move like that in like 15 years.
Wow,
And he was having the
I love
great,
it.
you know, and the whole, like when LV was playing, he had probably 30 people standing at the stage and everybody was having a great time. And there was hooping and hollering and high fives and hugs. And, it was so much fun to see that side of it, and see that people were really enjoying what was going on. And so when I have somebody ask me, they're like, how do you explain Herostock? And I'm like, it's a feeling you don't understand until you're there.
Right.
That's
And
the
it
only
and
way
it
I can explain
and
it.
not only that, but I think for everyone, it's a different kind of experience too.
Right. Right.
And that's why I think from one person to the next, the experience is going to be different, but
Right.
in a positive manner. You know,
Yep.
um, so yeah, man, I'm excited. So once again, we got August 14th and 15th, 2026, in good old Lincoln, Nebraska. Or
Ashland.
is it Ashland? My bad,
Ashland.
Ashland, Nebraska.
And it may be the 13th. We'll see how the meeting goes with the Hellhounds and the golf course and kind of see how that plays out. But our pre-party may be the 13th. So
Yeah. Well, if I'm coming, there's always going to be a pre-party anyway. So,
right. No doubt.
uh,
And I do have to report to you, nobody won the DT award this year.
well, that's because I wasn't there, brother. You know what I mean? I think that I'm a little responsible to get someone to earn that award.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think I bring it out of them. So we'll find out. We'll
Your side.
find if I show up next year and we name someone, and we'll know I
We'll
was the
know it's
missing
you.
link. I'm the missing.
Love it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you could call it the roof award. You know what I mean? Shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you get 3, we will name it the Roof Award.
Damn right. Well, shit. Now I have a mission. Who's going down this
Right.
2026?
I love it.
Well, brother, hey man, it's always a joy to have you on and talk all hero stock. Once again, it's a big event I'm always for. You'll always see me repping it. I wear this hat a lot all
Right.
throughout town, all throughout the cities. Here in California, people get to see this logo often. So,
Love it.
but yeah, brother, thank you once again. Is there anything you want to tell us? Anything you want to, that you forgot maybe before we head on out?
Couple things really quick. If you go
Yep.
onto our website, www.herostock.org, you can subscribe to our page. We are sending out a monthly-ish newsletter, just kind of keeping you up to date on what we got going on. We do have 2 more events left this year. We will do the Army Navy watch game at Nebraska Brewing on December 13th and December
Oh, cool.
20th. Yeah,
You guys did that last year, yeah, or no?
Yeah, we started it last year.
Nice.
We're bringing it back again this year, and then December 20th, we're actually planning a multi-nonprofit dodgeball tournament, old school rubber dodgeball tournament.
Yeah.
One of the guys is like, "Well, I can get some Nerf," and I'm like, If we're doing it, I want the red rubber ball that makes the boing when it hits your face."
Was that
Right?
you ever watch dodgeball?
Yep.
Uh,
We're planning that right now. And like I
that'll
said,
be
we
a
got
lot of fun. It could get
it
wild.
yeah, and then I do have to throw my daughter out there. She's got a song out on Spotify, YouTube, all the streaming platforms. Briella Steiner repping the new hat. She will have another song drop in September-ish, probably around the 11th time frame.
Nice.
That's be a hot song. So make sure you go out and grab her music and put it onto your spin list. I'd really appreciate that. And she may not be a veteran, but she had to grow up with one. So
absolutely. All right, brother. Well, thank you once again, man. And we look to see some great things from Herostock.
I appreciate it, man. I always love coming on with you.
Hell yeah, brother. Always a pleasure having you on. And we'll be having you on the start of next season to talk about 2026. And I'm sure you'll have things a little more finalized and we'll get a little bit more what's going on. So,
yeah. I like
it.
All
right. All right, brother.
All right.
Later, man. All right, friends and family. Thank you guys so much once again for tuning in to another great episode or interview. Once again, go out there. If you guys haven't had a chance, go check out www.herostock.org. Check out all the events they got going on. They do a lot of other things other than the main event. They do like cook-offs and stuff like that. So a lot of great things in their community. So if you're local to Nebraska, go check out some Herostock events. And once again, we hope everybody out there is doing amazing. If you're struggling, don't forget about that Crisis Lifeline, 988, press 1. And for all you out there, don't let the day kick your ass. Make sure you're out there kicking in. Until next time, we'll see you guys.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.